All right, we got some breaking news here from the NFL where Cam Akers has been traded to the Vikings. That's the latest from our lead NFL insider, Jonathan Jones. Now, the move will reunite Akers with Minnesota head coach Kevin O'Connell, who was the offensive coordinator in L.A. through the 21 season. Akers was a healthy scratch last week, with the Rams instead leaning on Kyren Williams, who scored 2 touchdowns in a loss to the 49ers at SoFi, which was like a Niner game because there was a lot of red in that building for that one. All right, let's welcome in Heath Cummings from Fantasy Football Today. So I think if you read the digital tea leaves from week 1 against the Seahawks, Heath, this doesn't exactly come as a surprise, although maybe the destination is. What's your initial reaction to the move?
You know, it really presents an interesting situation where fantasy football managers get to make a choice. Like, who do you want to bet on? Alexander Mattison, the guy who was good for 3 games without Dalvin Cook, but then when Dalvin Cook left for good, has been absolutely terrible. Or Cam Akers, the guy who's shown us 2 different month-long stretches of RB1 production, but the week 1 of this season was actually worse than Madison's been so far on an efficiency basis. I don't expect that when we see the final compensation, it's going to be significant. I think this Madison has been off to a very bad start to the season, but this is not a great situation to be in for a running back anyway.
So I know we're talking about Akers, but since you brought up Madison, let me target that because there are a lot of fantasy managers that got him as an RB2, and I think you even had him as a breakout candidate in one of your running back write-ups leading up to the season here. What, I guess, disappoints you the most, or what would you have liked to have seen, or what did you think Madison, because obviously Dalvin Cook, was it a like for like? Because he's been a great handcuff and a great backup previously.
Right. Oh, I think the most disappointing thing is how little of an effort or of a shot that he actually got at the job. Listen, they've had a 78% run or pass rate over the first 2 weeks of the season. They're barely given Madison any touches at all. And so you would have liked to have think in the situation he was coming into that there was going to be an opportunity for maybe 15 plus touches on a weekly basis. That didn't really happen the first 2 weeks of the season. And it'll be interesting because they do play the Chargers this week. It's been one of the worst defenses in the NFL for the first 2 weeks and a historically bad run defense last year. I don't know how quick Cam Akers is going to get for the speed. There may be a shot still for Madison to salvage some production in week 3 and some role moving forward.
So with Akers, if he's either out there, or what do you think if you have Madison, what's going to be the approach? What advice do you have for some managers out there?
It is a must-add situation for Cam Akers. I think the most likely situation, because he was with Kevin O'Connell in the past, because they made this choice to bring him in when they already had Madison, is that they see Cam Akers getting a shot to be the lead back in this offense. Again, I don't think it's something where you spend a ton of fab, because this is an offense that's going to be so pass heavy. They're going to be playing from behind a lot. The offensive line's a question, and the defense is just flat out bad. But he is a must roster player, Cam Akers. And Madison, there's not much you can do. You can hope that Akers is going to be inactive this week and you get to start Madison against the Chargers. You can't sell him for anything. I don't really want to drop him until I see Cam Akers not only get 15 touches or 10 plus touches in this offense, but also do something with them. Cam Akers has been, kind of down and out and then brought back to life 3 or 4 times in his fantasy career already. I wouldn't make it a foregone conclusion that he's going to be the lead running back for the Vikings the rest of the year.
Lastly, Heath, before I let you go, we spent so much time in the offseason talking about running backs financially. Now, through the first 2 to 3 weeks of the season, we're seeing what's happening on the field and the impact it has on fantasy, whether it's season long with the Baltimore Ravens situation or the Cleveland Browns situation, or maybe something short term like the Giants and Saquon Barkley. What do you make of just sort of the running back market right now?
I wonder if there are a couple of NFL teams at least that are looking at this and thinking, there's a little value in having a really good running back. I think we're going to see how bad the Giants look without Saquon Barkley. I would not expect things to look very good in Cleveland without Nick Chubb. And so Minnesota's offense has struggled quite a bit without Dalvin Cook. The market is almost non-existent in terms of paying running backs right now, and it's getting close to that in terms of valuing them in fantasy football. But I wonder if there is just a little bit of a shift back, especially with the impact we see Bijan Robinson making already in Atlanta.
All right, Heath Cummings with the reaction to Cam Akers getting traded to the Minnesota Vikings, and then a backup situation and the running back situation there in Minnesota. Heath, certainly appreciate it. And check out Fantasy Football Today if you can. Again, Cam Akers' past 4 games dating back to last season. At times, the numbers can be there, and at times he's shown that he can be the guy that on the ground and also get you those PPR points. But he's now got a new situation and reunited with a coach that he knows well in KOC.